We're just going to call him Team Kalm or Kalm, where you've got Mirage, who came from Liga team previously, so that's going to be interesting to see any sort of beef there. Ponlo, coming from Singapore, and now he's in Eastern Europe. Ike, who was on, I believe, Na'Vi. No, he was on Yellow Submarine, so he's one of like the up-and-coming diamonds in the rough, let's call it. But more importantly, Fortnite Man is making his return to the pro scene. The two-time OG Slayer, as we see the man, the myth, the legend himself coming through. And, well, I hope for Liga team's sake, they do not let his Darkseer through, because that is something that they will pick time and time again if you give them the opportunity to.
I do find it very funny that I was looking at all the players, just trying to get a little bit of background. Maybe I can have a few more things. And Fortnite Man's Wikipedia bio is like the longest bio I have seen for a player since basically Solo's one. I think his is the only one that's bigger. It is just, it's a plethora of information about the illustrious Fortnite Man being able to come into these Dota 2 qualifiers and absolutely demolishing teams. So if you're a Liga team right now, you could be quaking in your boots going up against the Fortnite Man. But as you said, a lot of these teams, as we start getting towards the pointy end of a lot of these closed qualifier games, when we have some of these open qualifier stacks come through and play up against these much more structured teams, that's when we could potentially be seeing a little bit of a disparagement when it comes to skill. Not saying Team Cal is going to be, you know, completely below Liga team, but it is just going to be one of those scenarios where you run into a coordinated team that is hoping to make themselves towards TI up against a stack that was thrown together, can have two different styles of play.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that I wanted to touch on as well is that leading into this, you might think that maybe like Kalmychata might have a bit of a point of difference compared to Liga team, just because they've got a player like Ponlo who's played in two completely different regions, actually three, maybe even four completely different regions, right? Like he played on Alliance in Western Europe, he played on Quincy Crew in NA, he played on a bunch of different C stacks, and then he was on oh god, what was the China team that he was on? Team Zero, I think, was the team that he was on at the time. So he's clearly got a lot of different styles to be able to pull, you know, information from and different ways. But I'll be surprised if we see him say more than like 2 words in this draft, because they've really put a lot of the focus onto Ike and what Ike thinks. And he's got a lot of respect. If you got a chance to do it, Ponlo was actually streaming their open qualifier run, and you got a lot of insight into, you know, a lot of the different communication. There are really no egos there on this team as well, and you can see Ike's basically the only one talking during all of this. He's got a great mind for drafting, that even if things don't work out for him as a player, I could totally see him doing a great job as a coach.
Yeah, and I think being able to get those insights really just enables us to be able to emphasize that when it comes to these closed qualifier games. So very excited to see what Kalmychata can bring into this game and bring into the series and these qualifiers as well. As you said, Hotline having a plethora of different experiences across multiple different regions and being able to succeed in a lot of those regions as well. It's not like, you know, he was just bouncing around doing kind of nothing for the last couple of years. He was able to succeed in quite a lot of those teams. So excited
maybe
to see
not Alliance, but everything else he was doing pretty decent.
I didn't want to say it, okay? All right, god damn. I just wanted to, you know, leave it to the imagination.
Well, we can't do that. We got to spell it out.
But it's got to cover a lot of those games, all right? So
true. It's got to be scary coming up against someone like Malik as well, though, who's had a ton of experience, right, through a variety of different teams. He's stood in for Spirit. He's been on PSG Quest when they had their great runs. You know, he's clearly just got a lot of stuff at the very high level. I think, was it top 6 that they got at Riyadh one year as well, when he was playing with them. So he is no stranger to high stress, high intensity situations. You can see he's the one kind of leading. Look at all those drinks in the background. I'm a little jealous right now that they've just got anything that they could possibly want to choose from. I'm really interested to see how Yu goes as well, and he's gone by Yu, but a lot of people might know him as Violent, because I really feel like his heroes fit this meta perfectly. Like when I think Violent, I think TB, TA, Morphling, and those are like the best heroes right now, or at least the ones that are likely to slip through into a lot of the drafts. And wouldn't you know it, actually, all of them except the TA are still available. Even Nature's Prophet, he can make it work as a 1, and I would be pretty surprised if one of the teams didn't snap it up again, because it can go anywhere. You don't really need to be all that worried about how you're going to be able to make it work. But this is, if you had to pick one hero for mine, TB is that one hero for Violent.
It's like, this is the reason why they pay you the big bucks, mate. Speak and you shall receive. So, so we're going to be getting a Terrorblade from Violent, which is going to be very nice for us to see. I do like this Batrider pick early on, coming in from Kalmychata, just because they have a lot of players that can definitely move it around. I feel like it is quite flexible kind of hero. And a lot of those Batriders that we've been seeing, has a lot of the power has been from a lot of its flexibility. So gonna have a Mars come in here as the response to the Terrorblade. I feel like that has always been, pretty much since Mars's inception, has pretty much just been one of those heroes that can just deal with Terrorblade nice and early on. Has a lot of good mix of physical and magical damage, as well as good ways of being able to lock him down. And Chaos Knight, is this the illustrious?
Yes.
Okay, position 4 Chaos Knight that you were talking about in the green room?
Yes, indeed. It's just like a really solid hero overall, right? You kind of have to think back to why Naga Siren was picked a lot as a position 4 and a position 5, and still kind of is every now and then. Really fast, good stats, good right click, harass potential, and ever since the God, I'm gonna have to look back at what it's actually called, but the facet that lets your Chaos Strike split into 2, Cloven Chaos, it just feels like it's a little bit more versatile of a hero, where you're able to make a lot of different trades happen. You've got a lot of burst potential as well, especially when you consider, like, 1-point Reality Rift, you get that minus armor, and then Mars God's Rebuke is actually going to slam people pretty effectively. Might be a little worried that you've got double melee, but I don't think against a TB and an Oracle that's a huge area of a concern.
Yeah, especially because you've got good ways of being able to bridge some of those gaps as well. You've got Spear and Rebuke to be able to get people away from you. You also have good gap closers to be able to, you throw in the Chaos Bolt and the Spear back into a tree. Can kind of close.
It's a pretty easy setup.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it's not like they're too disparaged where they are, but the Axe is a good response here. A lot of very short range heroes that really want to be up in your face, so you have a lot of good counter players coming in from the Axe. And obviously I feel like that is probably one of, I don't want to say one of, but it is definitely a Malik hero. When I think of heroes that he plays, Axe is one of the ones that really comes to mind. So I'm excited to see a whole lot more Axe go through these next couple of days of these qualifiers. But more just strength cores just coming in here with the Sven to finish it off.
They're pretty much, we were talking about comfort in the previous series, and this is basically what they ran during all of their open qualifier run. Like, the Batrider is played by Ike as the position 5. Ponlo played the Chaos Knight pretty frequently. Sven was the most played position 1 by Rinsick. And it's basically just Mirage's hero that's still yet to come. And I mean, there's a lot of heroes that he's still played that are still in the pool to be able to choose from. There's DP, there's Shadow Fiend, there's Void Spirit, there's Leshrac, which I wouldn't be surprised to see. I feel like it could be a great Leshrac game.
Yeah, I really feel like that's kind of one of the heroes that just looks really good into pretty much everything that Liga has right now.
When you consider, like, you've got a ton of stuns, you've got Arena to keep people held in place, you've got a lot of magic and damage to go up against high armor from both the TB and the Axe, you've got AoE damage to deal with Willow. Feels like a great Lesh game.
And you've got a lot of the amplification. Amplification. You've got Warcry to be able to play around with as well, the move speed and the armor. Yep. Really big things that Leshrac wants to try and have, but sometimes doesn't really have the space in the Leshrac pick. We'll see what they want to go for here. So Liga will get rid of the Death Prophet, just provides them a little bit of extra tower taking ability, allows them to kind of rally behind a hero. I feel like Leshrac and DP fall in very similar spots. I think, obviously DP has that silence to kind of change up instead of the stun, but very similar heroes in the vein. But what about Liga team? Where are we kind of leaning for them now with their potential final hero?
I feel like they're going to need a little bit of initiative. I don't know. They've kind of got a bit of a do-nothing draft for mine. So I need something that is able to react to when eventually Kalmychata is going to start running at them. So is that going to be something like an Ember Spirit where you're able to build a Mage Slayer and kind of delay things out a little bit? Is that going to be something like a Tiny where you do have a fair few melee-ish heroes, so you're going to get great value out of like an Avatos combination? A Kunkka I think would have been great, but it's already been banned out by Kalmychata. Pangolier is still a possibility for mine.
Yeah, okay. They only really have the lasso that can deal with the rolling thunder. Or Sada. Okay, they're gonna go for a Shadow Fiend. When you said the Shadow Fiend as well, I felt like that was another hero that really just combines really well with the Arena of Blood, as well as just being able to provide that extra bit of team fight, and that extra bit of burst damage, and the minus armor as well. Yeah, you are correct with that. Got a lot of minus armor with a lot of the heroes that are floating around. So.
And again, if you've got like a do nothing draft, you can just sit back as a Shadow Fiend and right click towers. What are they going to do about it? Like the onus is on Liga team to do something, and it's really just on a race. Like, what is he going to do it with? There's no Storm, there's no Puck because you banned them out. You don't have any real tower taking potential outside of this Terrorblade. It's going to need to be someone that can accomplish a lot of these things. Like And any sort of melee hero is going to have a horrible time into this SF as well. So what can you choose? Like, is it a Dragon Knight where you're just able to take towers a little bit, withstand some of the pressure that the SF is putting onto you? Something with a high amount of damage so that, okay, Pango's okay, but I'm going to need to see some rotations coming through from MRLS on his Dark Willow to be able to really hinder Mirage's game, because I think that's going to be the biggest telling point of how the, let's say, 10 to 15 minute mark of this game is going to go, or 10 to 20. If Mirage is, just snowballing and getting a little bit out of control, it could start to look very rough very quickly. However, if you're able to have killed him a few times off the back of MRLS and Respect, then it's a very different story, because I really feel like both Malik and you are going to be playing pretty passive games, at least for the very beginning.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Yu is going to be playing an extremely passive game. Want to try and farm up towards that very critical mass that the TB can work towards. So I think for me, I'm definitely sitting in the same boat as you. It's all about the Dark Willow to see what she can do, kind of rotating around this map. And I feel like also trying to kind of match what the Bat Rider and the Chaos Knight want to do as well. Like, they're going to naturally want to be heroes that are going to be moving towards power runes and kind of just putting a lot of pressure on a lot of these other lanes, being able to secure those first couple of minutes for the side laners and then just walk towards that middle lane and, as you said, get Raj off to such a nice start here. So I like the comfort that we got here from both of these two teams, and I feel like the game plans are pretty straightforward as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really going to be interested to see how both teams approach, for example, the power runes. I think that's going to be a pretty big deal for both of these, because you've got great ways to be able to build up a bunch of stacks. You've got great heroes at being able to take a bunch of the stacks. And we mentioned before, as we do get into the game, we're seeing a few Grandmasters here. We've got a Grandmaster Mars, we've got a Grandmaster Shadow Fiend, we've got a Grandmaster Terrorblade, and a bunch of Platinum and Master tier heroes. So comfort, comfort, comfort is the name of the game, except for Ponlo playing his Chaos Knight. But one thing that we mentioned with you, aka Violent, in that he is going to be very passive, the one thing that I think he does better than a lot of other Terrorblades, and I know he's not like a top player, is that he knows how to make that distinction of when to use his meta, not just for farming, not just for team fighting, but converting it into an objective as well. Like, you're never going to see him just use it for one sole purpose. It's always going to be for 2 or 3. So I'm interested to see how well he's going to be able to execute that, because they did very much draft around him. They banned out the Darkseer as well as the Doom, which Kalmychata had used as responses to the TB in the past throughout these qualifiers.
Yeah, that has been a big bane in the Terrorblade side for a long time. As you said, a lot of these targeted bans really trying to enable some of these players. So that's what they're doing here for Liga, trying to make sure that you's having a very good time. So, seeing what Calm can do.
I think it's
with
you
the heroes.
are, not you is.
Anyways, there's a fight. A race goes in. Nice little shield crash. Fortnite Man taking quite a lot of damage. See if he can crank some 90s up this hill, and he does. Gets away.
He's got a salve coming out to him. He will be A-OK. I think it's 2 for 2 in terms of the bounties, so not horrible. That certainly shows that this double melee is in a little bit of danger if you are not perfectly in position. Okay, so Ponlo's actually going for a little bit of a different build than what we normally see. So he's going Aether Lens first, which is pretty standard, but then looks like he's building into an Aghanim Scepter next. It could still change, as Fortnite Man will be okay. But yeah, like normally we see something like an Orchid.
I'm trying to think, like, potentially there's an interaction with the presence of the Dark Lord.
Also, just if someone gets called, you just use your ultimate, and then takes that away a little bit, the damage threat.
I'm trying to like think like a way too far outside the box of like Ponlo doing some like Giga Brain, like he's cracked the code of like double presence of the Dark Lord, just minus armor out the wazoo, and then Matt comes in with a logic bomb of counter initiation, I guess.
Do you think the like cogs having souls should come back, like those sorts of interactions?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it was such a, I don't want to say like a nothing interaction, but it was like such a, like it was something that you spent time killing those souls in the fountain instead of contesting a rune. So that was like a choice that you made, rather than it just being like, oh no, like your Shadow Fiend just gets, like obviously he gets 3 souls, but like you also miss out on 2 heroes, or potentially 3 heroes, because of the way that you used to have to do it with the deny, right? So yeah, 100%. I like weird interactions, and I like people abusing weird interactions. That's what Dota's built off of.
So I'm just looking at Violent up here on the top side. He just got 2 denies straight in Mars's face underneath the tower as well, so very nicely done. Off to a nice little start he is. So is Mirage, just looking to continue to try and put the pressure onto a race who honestly isn't having too bad of a time himself, considering, Shadow Fiend, how good he is against a lot of the melee heroes in the pool these days. Just making sure to pressure him at the right times to make sure that he's not going to get that flag Barret creep for free, but still ends up securing it for himself.
Yeah, just having the double jump and the shield crash just means you can secure so many more of those creeps. It's just very, very hard to deal with, because you obviously don't want to Shadow Raise at the wrong time as well, for Mirage. And just have it all soaked up by the barrier.
Nicely done as well to be able to leave Malik on his own in the lane. Ends up getting a stack from Morales. Maybe just assuming correctly that it's worth giving up the Lotus pool for the purpose of getting a double stack up.
Especially because they are so important for a hero like Axe, right? Where just being able to accelerate towards that next item and kind of remove that awkward window where, and we were even talking about it in the last game, you make the choice of Blade Mail or Blink. Sometimes that can be make or break, but if you reduce that window, if you do make the wrong choice, and you can kind of make up for some lost time. But
I mean, they don't want to fight on Liga Team is the thing. Like, they just want to sit back and do absolutely nothing and hope that they're able to get away with getting into those items. And so, the ability to be able to make some of these... Oh, he's got the faster fingers. It's a race, and I was about to say this might be very, very bad for Mirage, but able to get away just in time. Won't be able to secure the bottle refill though, so might be forced to go back to his own bounty rune, and that's, I think, exactly where MLS is starting to patrol towards. Hanging out the fact that it's still there.
Okay. Thought maybe he might walk all the way over there.
I think it would have been worth it, to be honest.
He's running into Ike instead. Maybe feeling like there could have been another way. Oh, Ike with the bounce up onto the high ground.
Cheeky, cheeky. Hold on. Mid lane. Mirage has gone for a little bit of a deep dive here.
Yes. Could be an overextension, especially because the big barrier that comes out from that shield crash. So Race didn't have that extra bit of damage. Didn't want to swashbuckle into a Shadow Fiend. Looks like Ike is able to get the kill there onto Malik on the bottom side of the map. After Ponlo gets the first kill onto Respect a little bit earlier on into the game, and now we are seeing Rinsick a lot of damage, and Yu's able to take down Ponlo on the top side of the map, who are trying to make a go there onto Yu.
Understandable. I mean, has to be a little careful here. Just a couple of seconds left on the God's Rebuke cooldown. Of course, he doesn't want to go too deep underneath the tower himself, so he should be able to get a bunch of denies here on the Mars. You can tell he's hungry for it.
They have stick charges too, so you have to be very, very careful.
But not if you've got a Chaos Knight right there ready to clean up a bit of a free kill. And I mean, this is what happens if you've got rotating around Oracle. He's going to be helping out as well, of course. He's got Prognosticate as mid lane. Bit of a dive. Yeah, this is what we said needed to happen. Oh, Ponlo, great positioning though, to be able to yoink away that regen rune. Might end up dying for it, but I don't think you'll really care all that much. It's just about denying the Pangolier the ability to be able to make a big level of impact throughout the game. And wants that regen rune to kick back in, but the Fortune's End ends up dispelling it. So ends up getting the kill, but it does mean that Pango doesn't exactly have the most resources to be able to do anything now at this point.
Yeah, I think it would have been very dire straits if Mirage walked back into that lane and it was a full HP, full bottle Pango that he was walking into after dying. So at least Ponlo does make it so this lane is at least salvageable for Mirage. It's doing relatively well, being able to keep well ahead on the CS charts, and it's kind of what the Shadow Fiend does, but as the Liga team are well aware, kind of just send a lot of the emphasis towards that middle lane, try and get that Pangolier boosted forward in a lot of these extra early levels, get towards that diffuser blade, and then he can start making a lot more space around the map.
Level 4 on Ike as well, so I wonder if he is going to look to try and connect through with the Sven once Sven hits his level 6, just to be able to get that little bit of a boost for the God's strength. Start to slam out some of that damage, but we're seeing too many stacks being built up for Kalmychata. Not really. I mean, the ones that have been made by the Sven underneath the tier 1 tower. Maybe a little bit to the left-hand side near the Wisdom Rune, but it's really what we're seeing. What we're seeing here with Malik being able to reap the benefits of MLS and his frequent trips away from that lane. And the fact that the Axe wasn't punished when this was all happening is a little surprising. So he is doing a totally fine job, even though Sven is farming, and that's all well and good, but you're not actually getting the kills in addition to it. That's when it starts to get a little bit more dicey.
Ponlo in trouble. He's able to stay alive there, so the Purifying Flames is able to heal him up just a little bit here. There are a few stacks that are floating around here for the Radiant side. Looks like they're going to try and make a go on the top side. Ike will make their rotation towards top. Arena of Blood's going to go in here. Yu does have the Sunder available as well as the 12 stick charges, and they just fight him all the way to the end there, but they don't have the damage. Fortnite Man did not have the God's Rebuke. Mirage is going to walk forward there onto Respect and be able to take down the support. So it is Respect and Ike who will trade places, but they really wanted that kill there onto Yu.
They're going to be able to get this D-Ward off instantly as well. I mean, it's just one of those things where they just got a little bit too antsy. It was a long TP coming through in from Mirage there. Otherwise, it probably was a kill onto the TB, and it would have been huge, you know, especially considering you've you've got the ability to really start to snowball if you get off to a good start on the SF, and it hasn't really been happening all that much. So advantage Liga team, in my opinion, at this stage, even though win probability has a very small advantage, only 4%. Again, they don't really want to be taking team fights, so if they're able to get a few more of these kills for free, they'll take that every day of the week.
Exactly. Being able to absorb this pressure, be able to not lose out when it comes to objectives. I think that's the big thing for them, making sure they don't lose these early T1 towers, and enabling a lot of these, I don't want to say greedier heroes, but you know, these Bat Riders and these Chaos Knights get out to those early EXP and gold leads where that's where they can really take over the game, right? Like if you have a Bat Rider who gets a very early Blink Dagger, especially at 5, that's when the game gets very, very hard for you. So
yep, absolutely. One has to be a little careful here. His positioning, but really wanting to make sure he doesn't allow that illusion room. Ooh,
he's going to pay the price. Just walking into the river and just getting taken down by the supports as well as a race.
And I mean, the fact that they're getting a bunch of these kills at this stage of the game is very important, right? Like, you've got level 6 on MRLS, and that's a pretty big deal considering you've got level 4, almost level 5 on the Bat Rider. I want to see him put a little bit more emphasis into his own, at least experience that he's able to play around with. Dodges out the call nicely. Just trying to be annoying at this stage. But yeah, if he's level 6, then you probably aren't able to get those Pango rolls off quite so easily. You're just going to lasso him every single time.
Just puts a little bit of extra pressure back on the side of Liga. You can just see Yu's just doing such a good job of constantly sticking up towards his top side, keeping that farm rotating, going through. Has just popped the Metamorphosis once again. We'll continue to put this pressure back on the Fortnite man, so he can't rotate off his top side of the map and try and help out Mirage, who is now falling back into the stacks in the jungle. So building towards that Kalmychata.
Malik's getting way too much, way too many stacks going uncontested. More being built up as well. He's got the chipped vest as well as the blade mail finished up at 11 minutes. Not even a naked one as well. He's got the phase boots to be able to combine together with it. Again, yes, the Sven is farming, but I don't think you really care that much, just because you are going to have ways to be able to deal with him once you get some of those early items. So he just got the blade mail finished right then, and he's already got 750 gold on top of it. So this is looking like being, honestly, if he's really on point, I guess he doesn't really have the stacks to be able to do what I was saying. Could you potentially contest with a Blink Dagger the 14-minute Wisdom Rune on the Kalmychata side of the map? Probably not. He probably doesn't have the real estate to be able to do that at this stage. Definitely like 15 and a half minute siege creeps, looking to try and play around those to be able to win a team fight and then take a tower. That's absolutely a possibility.
See if they want to play around those timings. So right now, very slow start for both these two teams. As you know, we were saying, Matt, just wanting to sit back and farm here for the side of Liga. Yeah, just holding on to this pressure right now.
They're just trying to bait someone to come in to defend this. Good use of his illusions though on the top side by you. Just trying to keep Fortnite Man away. He ends up going in here. SF could look to join in, but he's just used a couple of his Shadow Razors, so I'm not sure if they would have the damage to kill the TB anyway.
Especially with the Falcon Blade plus the full Yasha completed. It's got a lot of stats that are floating around now, so that extra armor, yes, it is quite a lot of match damage that can go through, so have to be careful of that.
Well, there's smoke coming through though. They're trying to find someone that's looking to pick up some farm. They would have loved it to be Rinsick, but won't be the case. They'll just be able to take a Bat Rider kill.
Yeah, I was looking for the Sven, but Rinsick is very deep in the jungle right now. Just hitting some of those creeps and trying to stay on top of the CS charts.
Going to need to see a little bit more happening from Kalmychata though. Like, they've just been perhaps a bit too passive. Oracle just sitting up here trying to allow this tower to go for free, but I think he's going to have to concede this one. On using his Phantasm Illusion just for scouting.
Yeah, I can't imagine them contesting that. So Just trying to build
Free
towards
though.
some of these early items here for Kalmychata. Just trying to get that 8th lens there for Ponlo, as well as the Blink Dagger up early on here for Fortnite Man. So with that extra tower, they get themselves ever so close. I'd imagine it's pretty much go time once they get the Blink and even close towards an 8th lens for Ponlo.
So again, I don't think they'll be able to get there in time, but it is that 14-minute Blink Dagger that I was talking about before. So this is kind of nuts from Malik to be at this stage. Do they have a smoke to be able to play around with? That's the real question that I have, because they just took mid tower, so it's not like they need to play around that. Bottom tower is probably going to die soon anyway. Right now, Erase just wants to stick around for the power rune. Gets a haste.
Okay, Ponlo just walks out of harm's way.
And I mean, he's who you want to get caught by this. Like, this is... Letting a CK die is totally fine. You don't want this courier to be scouted out, for example, returning back.
He was close, but didn't get caught. So you do survive if you're the Shadow Fiend, but you do lose another member in Ponlo once again. A lot of deep wards coming out here from Liga, and they're just putting the pedal to the metal. They're just going to leave you to his own devices, it seems, and they're just going to try and run around as this 4-man death squad.
I mean, they're pinging Fortnite Man, and he's doing a good job of shoving in this top side of the map, but he's got a Blink Dagger. So I'm wondering, like, at what stage are they actually ready to try and play around that? You've got... Okay, this is probably it, right? Blink Dagger on the Sven, Bat Rider. He's got Urn, doesn't have Blink or anywhere close to it, but I think that's totally fine. He's just trying to put a lot of attention onto himself, and yeah, they're going to instantly go for a smoke here, look to try and connect with Mirage, and hold on, just having a look at this Observer ward that sees the courier move down to the bottom hand side of the map, so they have a rough idea of where Rinsik is looking to try and play. He's just going to use himself as bait, I think, in the lane, knowing that the rest of the team is hanging behind him. Ooh. Wondering if he might go for that Blink Arena. Would have caught 2 at that stage, but won't be able to do it just yet. Doesn't seem like they're fully connected with what actual objective they want. I mean, they just moved across the map and had a potential for a 5-man team fight. Maybe they think they're further behind than they actually are. They've actually got a net worth lead at the moment.
I mean, especially with how far ahead Rinsik is, like, surely you got to be feeling pretty strong if you're the Sven right now. Blink Echo Mob at 15 minutes. Maybe seeing now with the Terrorblade, he's just picked up the Mantis Tower, you're feeling like might not be that far ahead. Malik's had a very, very good start, so you're feeling like everybody else is a little bit behind the 8 ball in comparison to that Axe. But as you said, not being able to connect onto that objective just yet. You can continue to go out to push a lot of these creep waves away. So Fortnite Man, I believe he got a glimpse of a race there. Does not have Blink Arena just yet, so they don't really have anybody to connect with this either. They are trying to get themselves into position here. Kalmychata, God Strength, they're going to go in, they're going to see if they can take down the Pango. Nice quick little kill there on Race. Now, we're looking towards the next couple of motions here. Ponlo getting very, very close to this. This is going to throw out the lasso there onto Amorales, and Malik will jump in onto Ponlo. Doesn't really get much done, but now with the God Strength still available here from Rinsik, they will take down Malik. And that's a lot of gold now going in the pocket here of Kalmychata. And surely they're going to be feeling good now.
They're going to be feeling a whole lot better off the back of that. You know, this was really the timings that they were hoping for. The quick blink in, burst down. And, I mean, to be able to catch out, maybe they were just waiting for a higher priority, more killable even target, because, you know, you compare the Pango to the Axe. Axe has about 20 armor. Pango, I guess, has pretty similar, but 600 less health to be able to play around with. So, considering how impactful a Pango can be in the middle of a team fight, and you know, they have the potential to be able to wipe him out in the 3 seconds that it takes for a TP to happen. So, looking not too bad, as Fortnite Man should still be okay. But again, I'm just continue to be impressed with how well Yu is able to play around the map with this Terrorblade, right? Like, he never just rests on his laurels and is just a farming TP, or just a pushing TP, or just a fighting TP. He does it all. And that's why it was, in my eyes, still a very, very worthy first pick for the team.
Seems like he does have quite a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders right now. And we'll see whether or not he can deliver for the team this game. So far, definitely not down and out, but TB is the insurance policy. They're looking to see if they can potentially continue to push towards this bottom side and try and find a little bit of a stronghold here for Liga.
Actually,
more emphasis on this tier 2 tower, Ponlo.
Yeah, has to be a little careful, especially playing around that creep wave when there's an axe around, but doesn't look like he'll be punished at this stage.
Yeah, looks like they're trying not to dive these tier 2 towers. It is very spicy kind of place on the map to be jumping into, especially onto a chaos nine. All it takes is for him to survive the Mars against Hope, but they've been able to find out Fortnite Man. When it comes to terrorizing the Fortune's End as well, they do have this land.
Big combo.
Mirage gets it done, gets the fear as well, and Malik just bounces into the arena of blood. Fortnite Man will walk away as he pops the L dance and says, "See you later, Liga." They're going to look to see if they can take down a race here. He will be able to get away for now. Ike with the bounce back into the lasso. And it's Kalmychata who get 4-4-0.
Yeah, you just see the combination coming through there with the CK double stun, right? It just means that blink in, Requiem is just so much faster.
He's found you in the bottom side of the map. He's very, very low here on Fortnite Man, so they have to be very, very careful. They do not have the Requiem of Souls, and you will just walk in and say thank you so much for that. They are
feels like they're just trying to bait.
Careful about how low they are staying here. Ponlo's going to come across. They have to be careful about the sun here. Beautiful little man to dodge there onto the Chaos Bolt, and Ponlo is just walking into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
And they
knows how to play the TB. I mean, it could have been just such a... I mean, they got a little bit greedy, and they even get another. Amorales just gets a solo kill onto the Shadow Fiend to be able to clean that one up. So what was looking like something great for Kalmychata suddenly turns into, it was all right, just considering it was a bit of an unforced error coming through there.
Yeah, you could see, obviously, trying to make that play there onto you, they just didn't have the lockdown. They didn't have the arena. They got the Mars Spear to cancel the TP. But after that, you have to be very, very careful about playing around the Sunder.
I think it's fine if the Sven's there, but he wasn't. He was on the complete other side of the map with, oh, hold on. Speaking of Sven, I was about to say, I thought he might look to try and engage a little earlier, but maybe they'll still be able to pick up the kill onto Malik.
They're still going to try and fight here. So Fortnite Man drops down the Arena of Blood, but with Rin 6 BKB starting to wear out here, does not want to try and go back in and fight. They at least get the false props coming out there as well. So Mirage, beautiful Blink Requiem, is able to catch out both of the supports, takes them down with a few clicks of the razors. And Kalmychata fighting around each other. A very nice set of execution. They're looking nice and strong here, Kalmychata, albeit except for that small little unforced error against you.
Yeah, it happens. They're going to be able to get a Tormentor off the back of it, and probably not going to go for the TB kill once again. Nice little bonus there with the sticky napalm now dealing some structural damage. So if you really wanted to get cheeky with this Blink Dagger, I could potentially try and get a little bit of that going. It's a 7k net worth lead now. Just 21 minutes in, and this is just a stack for fun, basically, but it's looking pretty solid.
I think there's a lot of good synergies and a lot of good individual skill for a lot of these players as well. So it definitely could be a recipe for success, but as we said throughout the entirety of this broadcast, there are some absolute juggernauts that are waiting in the rest of this region. So being able to get through Liga team is step one.
So I'm just trying to think
as well.
We've had a couple of fights now that have gone against Liga team off the back of Blink Requiem, basically. So BKB is the item that they're going to need to have to be able to contest this, but Axe is the only one that's got it completed. It's coming out on the courier right now. So that's the area that I'm a little concerned about, because if you don't pre-pop that BKB, the Chaos Bolt stun is long enough that with the Yasha and Kaya, with the cast range reduction, it's going to be enough to be able to burst through before you're able to pop it during the stun. Okay. Ooh, they trouble here.
They do miss on the Arena of Blood, but they've got enough damage to be able to deal with it, and that is a beautiful use of the Arena of Blood to keep Ike alive as well. So they got strength and they take down a Pango. You'd probably more than say that was worth, especially with a race being another call for the side of Liga.
Losing a tier 2 is not amazing, but I think they'll be happy enough to concede that one. I mean, all of their team fight essentially was used, though, on Kalmychata as actually Raj getting caught out here.
He got found by Malik. He has to be very, very careful. Wants to try and pump the Requiem, but with BKB being top tier by Malik, they're going to have to try and use everything to get the Shadowfiend out alive, and they do. So Malik uses the BKB here, and there's not really much that they can do with it, and they will just disengage here. So Kalmychata are in a very, very good position. They got a lot of resources out of Liga. They didn't lose anything for it.
It's an 8k net worth lead, but I really still feel like this game could go either way. Like, it just takes one really good team fight for both of them, and I feel like Yu is farmed enough that he's just going to be able to run down a lane, take out another tier 2 tower. I mean, you've got the glyph refreshed, sure, but to me now this starts to swing towards, all right, top Roshan. That's really where both teams are going to be putting a lot of their focus. And I'd have to say it's advantage Kalmychata because they've still got their tier 1 tower to be able to TP to in case, you know, buybacks are needed. They've probably got a slight, they actually don't have they've got a bit of a vision advantage, I'd say, around the pit area. So maybe the priority for them is just going to be shove out mid, shove out top, get ready for Roche because it's coming top in the next 30 seconds.
It seems like that will be the next point of contention. Both have pretty good teams at playing around
Solo kill.
the Roche pit as well. And as you said, Conlo did a solo kill.
Ooh, just dodges out the call.
Extra illusions. And Mr. Ponlo gets himself a big thumbs up from the team as well. Just a Chaos Bolt and a whole bunch of illusions. Pops the Phantasm, says see you later.
Yeah, he got a bit lucky with the Phantasm there. Able to create 3 off the back of it with his innate. Oh, down bottom, they're deep in here. I'm not sure if they're willing to pop Rolling Thunder just to kill Ponlo, though. And again, this is the advantage of playing with something like a Chaos Knight. You're just so tanky. You're pretty fast as well at being able to get away from a lot of these gank attempts. And even now, he's able to put a couple of points into the Chaos Strike where you might be able to get the lifesteal if you're lucky from a quick right click and being able to escape off the back of that. But even just the order that he's gone for these components of the Aghanims. Point booster, Ogre Axe. Like, he wants to make sure that he's just that much harder to kill at the very start. And I feel like Fortnite Man's kind of in a similar boat where he's gone the tough enchantment just for that little bit of extra armor, for example, to be able to not die to the TB and the Pangolier. But looks like it's going to be gank attempt into Roshan is the name of the game. Still very risky to just walk on in there. Just use the CK illusions for scouting.
We'll smoke them up. See if they get eyes on anything. We'll see a race at the top side of the map. 30 seconds till he has a TP, but by then the smokes will fade. Haven't got the vision of anybody yet, so they'll lead them. Alright, they're looking towards the bottom side, and it looks like Rinsik has been able to find the Dark Willow. Morales will unfortunately bite the dust.
And they get the D-ward off as well.
Fortnite Man got a little glimpse of where the Spectre was going. He did. So he finds the Oracle in the trees here, pins him to a tree, and Mirage says thank you for the soul.
Still not enough, though, to be able to go into the Roche pit, but I feel like you've got pretty great wards down. You've got to take advantage of that. So they can look to try and play around this top side. They will absolutely look to do so. Not sure if Erase is going to be able to catch up to that creep wave, so he might need to just bank on cutting the next wave coming on this top side of the map and maybe using the glyph to be able to prevent that. But they're actually looking to just say, screw it. Let's just run into this Roche pit, especially now that they see the Pangolier is nowhere near the team fight. So that's just going to
they found it.
Confidence.
They 100% found him. They found a race in the bottom side of the map, and they were able to get him. Fortnite Man shout out. Gets the Blink Spear. They get the Roche as well. They take another core, and I mean, Kalmychata, they are dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and charging to a game 1 victory.
To be able to get both of those things is kind of nuts. You know, I thought they might have to commit to either one or the other, but they just get it all. We've also got a BKB, though, coming out now for you. with level 20, with amp damage, so they didn't really use anything huge, though, to be able to make that happen. Maybe just thinking that Sven is going to be back and going to pick up some farm, which is true.
Okay.
The God Strength isn't available. I don't know if you want to go in on this. They will, though.
Fly here onto you. He pops the BKB. Do they have the extra bit of damage? No, they do not. He turns around with the Sunder as well as the False Promise. BKB's popped him plenty. The Amplified Damage Rune is still starting to run here on this Terrorblade. You have to be very, very careful here if you are Rensick. Ponmo just pops the clicks and goes down. They've been able to find out the Sven. The first life goes down. Metamorphs is still ready and raring to go. There's a lot of time to be able to play around in a lot of these fights as well. You walks forward, wants to try and find the Sven once again. So, Kalmychata in a dominant position, but Liga just say, no, we are going to catch you unawares. And they take down Fortnite Man, and they thought it was a good fight for them. But with the BKB being popped by you, it was just all over Red Rover.
It's just the Sven with no God Strength. That was the difference maker, right? Like, an extra 190%. Maybe you get lucky with an extra Daedalus crit off the back of that, and you does die. But it's certainly not the case. You even had the Gale Guard available as well to be able to withstand a little bit of that damage coming through as well. So I think they just need to be a little smarter about, like, yes, you've got some great combinations, but it's gotten to the point now where the CK stun plus Requiem isn't going to be enough. You need the Sven there to be able to take out this TB. He's way too big. He's even going into a Butterfly next, so as soon as that's revealed, you have to imagine that KB is going to need to be on the list. As I hear a Rolling Thunder, it's just onto a pos 5 though.
Going to take down Ike here on the Batrider. He's trying to
top lane. Fortnite Man
on the bottom side.
I feel like players are getting much better at that. You know, they reveal on the lane, they hit the tower for 2.9 seconds, and then they TP away. So even if your TP rotation is instant, you're still going to get away.
Yeah. Just the amount of times people being caught by those TP rotations, they've finally started to develop the min-max.
Like Tormentor should be coming up pretty shortly as well. I think it was taken around the 21-ish minute mark, 21:30 maybe. So love to get that for Fortnite Man in particular.
But Kalmychata are definitely looking towards it.
But I mean, look at those couple of big pickups. Aghanim Scepter plus the Daedalus coming through from the TB. Can't imagine there's too many more items that you're really looking to try and save up for. If the time is now for Liga to try and make something happen. They just need to make sure that the lanes are shoved in enough that any sort of movement that they make isn't going to be too obvious. Smoke coming out here from the Willow. Yeah, now's not the time to farm, Malik. Now's the time to go. No one really is revealing on the map. Having a look at Liga's perspective, completely dark on the map right now. Fortnite Man briefly shows, and that's where they're going to make a beeline for.
See if they can find the Mars here. He is unfortunately left on an island. So Fortnite Man will try his best. He's going to BKB an Arena.
Alright, maybe thought the boys were coming. I mean, maybe he was just trying to ice some... Oh, just able to get away on the Sven there as they were taking the Torment. Or at least Fortnite Man gets the Aghanim Shard from that, so not the worst. Has to be very careful of sticking around on the bottom side though, Rensick, because he is standing right next to the Tormentor. He just walked past a dire active Watcher, as there is no SF here, and there's no Oracle there anymore either.
Just use the double combos, blink in, lasso, Requiem, see you later. So, again, it seems like there's a lot of counter punches that are going between both these two teams. It feels like one team gets a small advantage, the other one comes in with a counter punch. We kind of go back to this even state of equilibrium, where it doesn't really feel like either team is starting to pull ahead. And I agree with you, it feels like the net worth chart is a little misleading, just because of how strong it feels like you is. Same with the Sven, to be perfectly honest with you. I feel like both of these two carries are both in that kind of godhood area where if they're left unchecked in a team fight, they will literally kill everyone, and there's not much you could do about it. So
I I do have to wonder though, like, now you've got the arena coming back up in 2 seconds. You've got the BKB coming back up in 5 seconds for the Mars. You've shoved out this top lane effectively, and he's got the Aghanim Shard now as well. Ponlo's got his Aghanim Scepter, so is this now the point where you look to make a move of your own, stick Fortnite Man out there as like, oh, he's bait, he's really killable, but then you get the reveal of that Aghanim Scepter, and then suddenly, you know, when you look to commit Blink Call, Rolling Thunder onto him, you've got that extra second or two that you need just to be able to survive. But I'm a little worried that Mirage isn't there with the rest of the team. They need this damage.
It's going to go in.
Oh, he doesn't get the false promise off.
And they just delete absolutely everyone. Now Malik's been called out as well. They do have that BKB to be able to try and play around with though, so Malik is able to at least run away from this. Low does hit that Phantasm, gets everybody out of dodge for now. Will eventually lose his life though, so it's not like it is all for naught.
Oh, one hit
Forward. And that was a big old shot coming in from Rinsik.
I want to guess, how much damage do you think it did?
He has 1200 HP, so I would say...
It was more than 1200, a lot more.
2200?
23,978.
Damn.
In one hit. God damn.
Yep.
God Strength's nearly off though, so... And he does have level 25. I'm not sure if that was off the kill or beforehand, but an extra 50% God Strength damage is pretty deadly. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see exactly what happened in the previous fight. I thought Oracle might have been able to get off the false promise, but I think perhaps part of that was Fortnite Man getting the arena off and just limiting the vision that the Oracle had at the time, so he couldn't actually false promise the Pango.
Quickly looking up and seeing the indicator of no vision.
Afterwards, yes, I just thought he had like maybe 1 second to turn around and ulti the Pango, but maybe it wasn't enough.
Yep, that's a big crit. That's a one tap.
So what's he going for? He's going for Abyssal Blade next. Okay, don't hate it. I mean, that's one way to be able to stop the freaking Sunder from coming through.
Next cosmetic idea, Valve. This one you're getting for free. Overkill, like skin. You overkill someone and it shows you. Like how
Where does it show?
Like on top of the person that you killed. Like a PA, like sword on the Arcana. Alright, I heard a lasso. That means that Ike is able to blow up Morales.
Ponlo's a little bit in danger if he ventures too much further forward. Should be okay. Everyone's going to... Well,
they're trying to fight towards the top side though. The race is able to walk forward. Fortnite Man pops out BKB. Let's have the TP available. They're going to go in and fight, and it looks like Rinsik is going to
false promise again.
Delete him. He was halfway through the animation there. For respect, he tried, just wasn't there in time. There's a lot of damage that comes in from this spam. It looks like the Demon Zeal just to get themselves away. So respect just ever so close to getting that false promise off. I think if he gets that false promise off, that's just like a turn fight, and they just kill Rinsik as well.
Yep.
So
they oftentimes are running pretty low on TPs on Liga team though. Like I don't think Malik was there to be able to join in just because he was lacking it at the time. But now with I mean, there wasn't really anything huge popped other than, I guess God Strength is pretty big still at this stage of the game. I don't know. I feel like even without it, you know, it's gotten to the stage where Rinsik is just threatening enough that it's not the be-all and end-all unless you're worried about TB specifically. Everyone else can still just two-shot him.
And also get to the point where it's going to have to be this dance between both of the two carries where they're both as petrified of each other at one point. So it's all really going to come down to what the teams can do around them.
So it's a really tough decision to have to make, and of course we can't see what neutral item choices they got. Rinsik just went away from having the serrated shiv, which gives a chance for a guaranteed true strike, which is going to be great against the butterfly, but instead he went for the one that guarantees a crit. So with the giant small every 15 seconds, so you don't even need to worry about the potential for a crit coming through. You will be critting when you're looking to try and initiate. Yeah, it's probably not as much of a crit as what the other option is, but still it's pretty deadly to be able to have that option available. Smoke on smoke. Still not getting caught out here. Nah,
They're aware.
the smoke didn't break, so they're not going to take the bait.
They are aware.
Roche is alive up top as well, and Mirage's illusion sees it.
We're seeing if there's any more of these with these two.
No smokes left on either team.
Calm.
They've got another one in Ponlo's inventory as well, or his backpack.
Oh, they're going to walk up the high ground here. This is a beautiful position coming in here from Liga. Ponlo will walk in. We'll be able to drop some wards. He gets full vision of them. We'll watch him here as...
Oh, the Lotus!
Oh, that's a huge Lotus orb that comes in with the Hex as well. Being able to catch out Fortnite, man. He has no BKB. There's no Phantasm for them to play around with either. Rinsik's going to go in towards the background, and that Butterfly is doing so much work already for you. And there is just nothing left for them to do here. They will just try and disengage. Ponlo's going to try his best here against the Raid. Now Mirage is going to go forward.
Finally,
the Requiem with Souls, and then you can just see that false promise just being able to have that disengage. Now it's going to go in, catch out Ponlo. So there will be no Chaos Knight for this fight. 54 seconds for both of these two players as they sit and watch, and Liga team will walk into the pit.
it's all about the engagement. You know, it was what was the net worth lead at that point in time? I think it was 18k. It shrunk down to 16, and now they've got Roshan that is going to be going the way of the Liga team, as well as another pause coming through. Hopefully everything's okay with the connections coming through. It's another tip coming through. Old teammate to old teammate.
Seems like they are having some problems with some things, but looks like they're getting through it nice and quickly. So Yu's able to deal with that and be able to get through.
Hold on. Oh, this is not good though. He's lost the gem.
The gem. Loses the courier.
2 gems now on Liga team, which is pretty huge, honestly. Like, that was the one kind of saving grace that, at least they kept their gem, but not going to be the case. And, you know, quick 6k net worth swing, even having a Satanic now available as well to be able to just stand and man fight against the Shadow Fiend. What's the BKB durations looking like? 7 seconds for TBs. Sven's down to 6. Not surprising. It's just going to need to be the case of...
It really does just rely on it.
I mean, he's just going to be queuing up the... once the Abyssal Blade is there, he's going to be queuing up the fact that Blink Stun is going to be the initial, and then prior to BKB hopefully coming out. But again, it's really just about this Oracle. You know, False Promise is always going to be something that you're concerned about. So it just comes down to how disciplined is Respect. You know, he's played in a variety of regions as well, right? Despite being Belarusian, I believe. He's had time in Western Europe as well as Eastern Europe, so he doesn't have just that one play style to go from either. Maybe he learned a few things on his time with Into the Breach, where he was able to sit back a little bit more, maybe play a little bit of a different style than what he's normally used to. What's got coming out? I think it's Aetherlands, probably. Coming out on the courier.
Extra bit of range. I'll play a little further back. Tumbler's to it as well. With the keen-eyed, so obviously very much in the
That's a huge cut stretch.
business of having long cast range.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big range, that False Promise.
Yeah, and Blink. It's like a full screen easily. Alright, so again, despite an 18k net worth lead, first team to lose all of their towers is Kalmychata. And they're just sticking the beefiest boy on the front lines. Hold on, they get the right TV.
They are going to drag him all the way in. Beautiful disconnection there with the Arena of Blood coming in from Fortnite Man. They do take down Respect in the background. Mount goes absolutely the lead. Now they're going to see if they can try and win this right here against you. They will be able to take down the Terrorblade in his first life. No metamorphosis now for the Terrorblade, and he's stuck inside of the base. He will just wins the bash though, and that is a big kill there for Rimsick. He's going to stand and fight and see if he can win this, but he will just do a lot of damage to the Sven, and that will be it. It is
all about the initiation.
Losing these first couple of fights as they try and walk up towards the high ground. And they are just now really at the chance of potentially trying to take this game number one.
Tip is incredibly warranted there for Ike. I mean, that is not the fight that you are going to get without that amazing lasso. You know, you see the Manta split, he sees which one is the real one, grabs it, and just the burst damage potential. Even a really nice false promise coming through, probably a little bit late on the arena coming through from Fortnite Man, not able to deny away a lot of that vision, but it's just not enough at the end of the day. The damage output from the Sven and the SF is just enormous.
Yeah,
they'll finally get their own tier 2 tower.
This is the power of the Batrider, right? Like, it's been like this for, I mean, as long as I've been watching Dota 2, you know, pretty much being able to just catch someone with lasso and just being able to have these heroes that just do so much burst damage, and that's kind of the power of the draft that you've got here for Kalmychata. Is just the fact that this Sven, if he just gets time to beat down on the Terrorblade, even though he has Satanic, even though that he has Butterfly and all this other stuff, it's just very, very easy for him to chop through that. There's no fight back.
This is the way that I want to see Batriders being played as well as a support, right? Like, he didn't just sit back and passively farm and take away, you know, his cause farm. He got out there. He was really aggressive with the farm that he was able to pick up. He was always, like, preventing the tower from going down too easily, enabling Sven to actually take the safe farm. That's the sort of gameplay that I want to see. Sure, the flashy stuff can happen in fights, but it's just that basic understanding of, hold on, they're pinging out where exactly he is, but they're not really in a position to do anything about it right now, as he's even got a BKB now on Ike. So when he goes in for these deep jumps, the only way that they're going to be able to stop him is an axe call.
And that's just, you know, being able to have that as a response, especially when, you know, a lot of the time it's blinking for stuff instantaneously. It's gonna be,
and even if he does call, I wouldn't be surprised if he outworld staffs himself as well, just to be able to dodge the axe call. Like, it's a possibility, honestly, with how well he's playing.
That's something. That would be something. So it looks like Ponlo is just spamming the ags off cooldown to push out waves. Which, I mean, I don't
push out waves, give a lot of information through, as well as the DC coming through. Malik will take it too. Maybe things affecting Kazakhstan at this point in time, who knows?
Potentially. So hopefully all the players can get back in the next couple of moments so we can get back into this game of Dota, which has turned into a very interesting game, considering how strong that Kalmychata looked in the early couple
What's
of...
the win pro? 80%. Yeah, seems about right. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they haven't put more emphasis onto taking this Tormentor, just because you've still got 3 heroes in Kalmychata that don't have Shard, and SF is one of them. You know, with how well he's being able to use the Shadow Razors at this stage, and the fact that he's got the Dazoon Bloodright tier 4 item that increases the area of effect, that seems pretty huge to me.
Yeah, especially with the combinations that he's been able to pump out in a lot of these fights. You know, even potentially being able to give the Sven Shard as well. I mean, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's a bit of a freebie, but it just kind of helps a lot of these other heroes survive, especially when you have like all these different illusions and all these other kind of tankier heroes against something like a Terrorblade, where that feels like that's where a lot of their damage does come from, is the TB and the physical damage. So you keep them alive and can go a long way in these team fights. So
are they trying to bait this Tormentor? Because okay, a few people are coming down here to the bottom side as well. I'm sure they're saying to Rinsick, bro, you're farmed enough. Get over here. Let us get this this Aghanim shard. It's going to be so much more valuable. It's about 3 hits it, yeah. Probably the worst of all the heroes gets it, to be honest. I mean, it is nice to, I suppose, push out waves a little bit.
I mean, it can, you know, potentially be that that extra bit of damage that pushes them over the edge, getting a kill on the Terrorblade. You never know.
Sure, let's go with that.
Trying to be
I don't mind a Boots of Bearing from him, actually. It'd be pretty great.
I like the AC choice.
It is,
but I do agree with you. I think the Boots of Bearing would do a lot of work for them in these fights. So I guess it is one of those items that the Sven wants, but doesn't really have the inventory space for.
It's just a matter of who's going to make a mistake first. I mean, you got to know that something's happening here on Liga with how deep that top and mid lane are pushing in. Someone's going to need to respond to this.
They're seeing him
far away from the team.
BKB. Ooh.
He's just trying to bait out abilities right now, and they've gotten out the Rolling Thunder. He's got a refresher on Pango, so it's not the guarantee that you might expect. He's also got Dazoon Blood, right? So it's a lot wider stun radius of that Rolling Thunder. Someone's going to need to deal with this top lane. It is way too strong. The 45-minute creep wave, so you've got the double siege there as well. And that's the one that was being hit into previously. Ooh, no.
Yeah, Fortnite Man losing his
still got buyback. He didn't have the components of it, so it's fine. Again, one of the advantages of the CK Ags, you can just use the illusions to push out the waves. You don't need to put anyone in a risky position, as it's actually TB that TP's back. No vision of him at this point, but once he reveals there, wonder if that'll be an instant ping and they'll just try and sweep across the map and maybe take tier 2 top. Maybe wait for the TB to just push out a little bit too far. I don't think that Yu is going to put himself in harm's way anytime soon. What item is he going to get rid of, by the way, for this Swift Blink? I don't know. EKB? Switch it up. Look
who they found. It's the Pango. Malik's the next one on the bucket list for the side of Kalmychata. They will go in towards the OD stuff, but it's just not going to do enough. It's like half a second.
He could have used the false promise there, but deemed it not worthwhile. Hold on. Might be able to see the Willow.
Amaryllis doesn't catch. Very hard to check out the mini-map with all these different fake Svens and real Svens. And
these two don't have buyback, by the way, for a minute. That's pretty enormous. Like, if they realize this, they could very easily look to get 2 lanes of racks minimum.
They're out by a couple hundred gold. The question is right now for Kalmychata is, what kind of fight do they want to take here? Looks like Fortnite Man was a little bit on the aggressive. He's put himself in a pretty bad spot.
Getting a greater Lotus fed over to him. And Yu looks like he just wants to try and cut this creep wave as much as possible. Get that backdoor protection kicking back in, but they'll get 1 lane of racks. Will they go for a second? They're going to respect it enough.
Be looking for a second. They want to try and get this fight going. That's a hex that goes down to the BKB. Nice little use there by Yu. They do get respect there by the corner of the Requiem. They aren't able to collect onto the Oracle. And it looks like it's all just a little bit of fun and games. So they're taking down respect now with on the buyback. They're looking to try and get this kill here onto the Terror. He pops his attack, but it doesn't matter. He got booped away from Ike, and they're able to clean him up. And now into the Shadow Realm. Go
an axe are coming.
The Dark Willow. They've been able to come back into this fight. They blink in. It's only
all illusion
catches. They're all going to buy back. They want to try and get this fight going. They're just going to leave Bonlo to his own devices, and it's the Chaos Knight. That is the only prize that Liga gets out of this. They lose a lane of racks. They lose their buybacks, and not much else for it. But maybe, just maybe here, Matt, this buyback can be worth it. No BKB and no gold strikes in the next 50 seconds.
Yeah, I suppose they're going to need to go straight into the Roche pit, though, if you're assuming that they've used absolutely everything. You've also bought up all the hold on, Mars farming underneath an observer wall.
No, Fortnite Man was stuck in no man's land, and he's dead.
He can buy back, though.
The buyback.
Yeah.
So if they see this, they have a nice little ward there as well. Good little creep cut there coming in from Ike as well. So they will at least see them walk through the river.
I think he might want to buy back pretty damn soon.
They have smoked up. They're walking their way over there. He does not have boots of travel, so his TP is going to be to a tier 3 tower. He's going to take ages to get here.
I see Axe. I see Axe.
They're going to get, as you said, they found Malik and they blow him up. They have the buyback to Jet, and that is a one tap once again by Rinzik. Fortnite man, ice in his veins, not buying back just yet, understanding how important it can be.
God, how many smokes do they have? It feels like they've got an unlimited supply. That's the last one that they've got for Kalmychata.
Hoarding them. How much time do we have left on the God Strength? Not that much time left here on the God Strength, so this is time to go, but it looks like they've scared them out of the pit.
Hold
Been
on.
able to buy the time and hold on to the buyback of Fortnite man.
Lasso still has 10 seconds left on it, otherwise I feel like they might have gone for an attempt there. That's a very ballsy move in.
Yeah, and they're just walking towards the pit. The Sven's going to be able to get the ages here. They've taken down Ike. As you said, it was a ballsy move, but it opened up the space for the Roche. Rinzik, he doesn't have enough space for everything. The banner, I think he's the banner.
He's just baiting, he's just baiting.
They want to see what this fight is going to pan out here. Ponlo walks in, gets the Crimson Guard going. Malik's about half HP. They have to be very, very careful about where these fights go. The bigger bit get pop. Malik is able to dodge it out by the see what fight they can get going, and they have just walked up onto the high ground and tried to catch out you, but you gets himself away from the fight. Now they're seeing if they can take down this Terrorblade. Puts the big AB, wants to try and stand and fight outside of the Blood Arena, but it won't be.
It's over.
He loses his life to the Abyssal Blade, and GG is called. Liga lose game 1, and Ponlo and the crew march towards game number 2 after a confident victory.
Very confident victory. 0 deaths for Rinzik as well on the Sven. It really is starting to become one of those heroes that need to be bumped up a lot in priority. We talk about